recognizes the gentle lady from Washington, Mrs. Gluesenkamp Perez, for 5 minutes for any questions she may have.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Chair Ferguson, for being here. I appreciate the work you're doing. And before coming to Congress, you might know I ran an auto repair and machine shop and care deeply about a level playing field for small businesses. That is how we build wealth in this country, is a diversity and a level playing field. I think it's a lens of being pro-business and antitrust. And one of the things that I've heard in your testimony is about the expert witness testimony, but I've also had questions about how many people on staff in your department that don't have a college degree, because any of the mechanics I know could point to, a headlight assembly and tell you that there's an issue going on when you can no longer replace a single light bulb and you have to do the entire assembly for $700 where we used to do it for $3. And it's these kinds of things in the lens of, I think, experience of like what is important to people. There are big arguments, and then there are the kind of the things that make or break a household budget. And those things I think are often best informed by having a plurality and a diversity of experience. And so I'm wondering how you are choosing to balance the credentialing of your team.
So I agree with you that having diverse experiences and viewpoints is super important for the FTC to do its work. I think for all government agencies, there is an unfortunate bureaucratic impulse to sort of look only inside the Beltway, interact only with the interests that have inside the Beltway presences, and that generally small and medium-sized businesses will suffer as a result because they are the ones that can't go to the lobby shops in Washington and inundate Congress and the executive branch with lobbyists. So I certainly agree with you. We're a law enforcement agency, and almost all of our work winds up in court, which means we end up being very lawyer heavy. We hire from law schools all across the country, even on the commission itself. We have two commissioners who graduated from state schools. The previous administration had focused a little heavy on the Ivy Leagues for commissioners. I went to a state school. One of my colleagues went to a state school. We're from all over the country. That lends itself to diversity of experience. And make sure that we don't get tunnel vision from within the Beltway. So I agree with you. It would be very easy to lose focus on the things that matter to Americans on the ground, around the kitchen table, without a diversity of experience, and that is important to me at the FTC.
Yeah, I think, there's been arguments about needing a larger budget to be able to expand the staff, but I think it is about the prioritization of how respect, who deserves a seat at the table, and identifying and prioritizing the experiences. One of the things that I've been looking at, my washing machine's from 1997, but a lot of the newer ones, it's like they're playing Tchaikovsky, and they don't last more than 6 years, and there's very clear design issues and why that's happening. Having more information as a consumer about what the expected what the life expectancy, what the annual maintenance cost, those kinds of ways to get at not building more agency, more bureaucracy, but saying people just deserve the right to have more clarity of information, and would certainly appreciate your support in identifying some planned obsolescence strategies, as well as obfuscation of the durability of a given product might be. Your thoughts on that?
I'd love to work with you on it. Look, the FTC's most important consumer protection mission is preventing deception. And deception under Section 5 is not just straight out lies, it's also omitting things that would be important and material to a consumer before he or she decides to purchase something. And misrepresenting, either intentionally or through omission, the lifespan of a product is potentially a problem. So I'm more than happy to work with you on that, on industries where you think that's a particular problem and require our focus.
You go to McDonald's?
Not often, but sometimes, yes.
Yeah, you know about the issue with the ice cream machines?
I am aware that it is sometimes difficult to get a McFlurry when you want it.
Well, I've appreciated the work that has happened to ensure that people who are buying equipment have the right to fix it, whether we're talking about a car, an ice cream machine. I think there's some very embedded paternalistic attitudes towards who has the right and the agency, and what a material environmentalism and applied environmentalism is in making things that last longer and having clarity for the owners. This tort law goes back to the 1400s. You bought it, you have the right to fix it and maintain it. And I'm hoping that we are seeing a continuation of that and a seriousness of building wealth and economic self-determination in America.
My grandfather had a Ford tractor from the 1950s with which he tinkered up until his death. And I grew up in a farming community, so I understand, particularly to farmers, the importance of being able to repair your equipment without having to go back to the manufacturer. We have an ongoing case against John Deere on this issue. This is also an issue that the states have started to address legislatively. I know that there have been legislation Congress has passed on this front, other legislation considered. Insofar as, preventing someone from repairing violates Section 5, we are prepared to enforce it. We also want to recognize that generally the best approach to problems is to let the people's representatives, both in the state legislatures and in Congress, address it first. And so we don't want to sort of interfere with those efforts. But this issue is important to me. I grew up around this issue. I hear you loud and clear.
Thank you. Yield back. Thank you.